The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and DoctorJonPaul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated, and I mean all of them. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul, and honestly, I understand why Edwina was always 3 seconds from yoking me and my brother up, because this adulting shit,
girl,
in this moment of time, like I knew the 90s was bad and the 2000s was rough. 2010 even I was like, ooh girl, this is a lot. But 2022 and 20 down to the 2020, whatever they call them now, the 2025s.
Get up.
Bitch, what is this?
Why are we here? Ho, why is we here?
This? Ho, why is we here? But anyway, how are you, Joho?
Oh my God, girl. Ooh, yo, it's your girl Jordan / Joho. I am in Baltimore, the city of charm, and tell me why it is humid and wet. Like, why is it raining in 80-degree weather? And why is it warm rain? Why is it warm rain? Like, I'm not built for this life, and yet here I am. The city is cute. Also, tell me why the weather app said it'd be thunderstorms all week. Today was sunny in the morning time, and then was pouring rain in the afternoon time, and there's just thunderstorms. Make up your mind, girl. Yep. What are you? Well, I will say. Go ahead.
It's cold here in California. Real quick, I just want to put that out there. It's like literally we've swapped weather, but go off.
And what I will say, it is so green here. The Baltimore still all the lush greenery from the world. Why are the trees so damn green? It's so pretty. Like the trees are not this green in California or in San Diego. They're so damn green here, and I love it. But bitch, I am so tired. I'm here for a conference. And I forget just how much conferences be taking a bitch down.
Yeah, it'll do it every time. But
I'm still here. And on that note, y'all, we gonna kick out our show that we do every week. We give Miss Tisha Campbell her flowers in our Still Here segment. As an aside, I've been rewatching My Wife and Kids and Martin, and she really eats up those roles. No one gives her flowers. Yeah, Tisha Campbell did a damn thing on that.
She is the star of that show.
Is. So to demonstrate that we are still here, I want to ask you. We got some questions about our girl B, because we out here for bees around these parts. Are you truly a part of the Beyhive? And if so, and if not, what lessons, daddy lessons? See what I did there? Has been what daddy lessons? What? Sorry, I make sure my mind is not working. What lessons have there been in being in the Beyhive? We talk a lot about our love for Beyonce around this show. We're talking about about being in a fandom and such. So I want to know more for us, what that means for us. For me, I'll say like I wasn't a Beyhive member probably until Lemonade. I always loved Beyonce. Like to me, B-Day is my favorite albums ever. But I wasn't like I wasn't like Beyhive member. But Lemonade came out and I said like even when people go crazy over self-titled, tis not my personal choice. When the Lemonade dropped, I said, "Oh, I'm in." It's not for me, babes. But I do love the Lemonade. That shit is amazing. And so I think by loving the fandom is that like when people love Beyonce, like I don't know, like I feel like everyone who loves Beyonce is just free. People love Beyonce, love freedom. Like I feel like the people I meet in the Beyhive, people who like love Beyonce, I see a kitchen.
I'm sorry. That was so funny to me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That was so funny to me. I don't know why that tickled me.
That's why I can't move. I can't move. Like I feel like the Beyhive just like when I see people in the Beehive, I see people who like really love expression celebration. I think especially seeing the
Mhm.
Beehive now at like post Renaissance era and Cowboy Carter, like I'm seeing like all the Beehive members who maybe felt like they were untapped, right? Like the queer folks
Yeah. Yeah.
and cowboy folks, and that just feels like that's just it feels so good. Like it feels so good now, and I live, laugh, love it so much. Yeah, I
Yes.
love us. I
Mhm.
love us.
Fan me off, I'm hot, hot, hot
Hot
like
like
stolen Chanel,
Chanel,
lock me up
up
in
and
jail.
jail.
Yes, yes. So I agree. I agree. I think being the president and CEO of the Beyonce Beehive fan
Mhm.
club, I really think the Hive has really taught me this idea about why it's so important to protect your people. Like I'll see people say something out of pocket to Beyonce, like about Beyonce, and the Hive will work together to not only take this person down, but
Mm.
also there's just this camaraderie of like we protect everything Beyonce, her kids, her family. We don't really protect Jay-Z, which is okay. Because I don't really see it for him like
That
that. And I
part.
hope that one day she don't ever learn that about me. Because I'm like, I don't really like your husband, girl. Oh, and he's cool, but he's not that great anymore. Very
Mhm,
correct, says one of our producers. And so all that to be said, I kind of just but when it comes to her, right, we protect her. I think for me, it's this idea too that her fandom has really taught me this idea of like what it means to protect black joy, black artistry, black like creativity, black children, right? Like the ways that I see people telling other white folks who critique Rumi and Blue to knock it off. The
mm.
ways that I've seen people write like really some really good stories about, and again, we're going to get into it in our next segment, talking about the ways of perfectionism, how people really break all of that down. I think for me, the
Mm.
word that comes to me is accountability. Like being in the Beehive has really taught me how to hold people accountable for the things that they say and do. And it really has helped me also to really check my misogyny and my misogynoir that I take in, because this world is trash, and I think it's really cool to be a part of a community that really not only holds you accountable but also allows you, like I was telling someone earlier today, like going to Cowboy Carter, and I know you're going to be going in a couple of days, and by the time you all hear this we have both gone. We're kind of putting it out there, we're recording a little early this time around, but I was going to say by the time you all hear this, even with Cowboy Carter still being on, it's really cool to just see the space that's being created for us to cosplay and not feel bad for getting into our best
Mm.
garments and going to the tour and wanting to have a really good time. So I don't know, I feel like the Beehive, like you said, freedom is a really good word,
Mm.
accountability is a really good word, and I
Mm.
think both of them, both of those concepts have really helped me kind of evolve into the bad bitch that I am.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
yes, God, Nessa. All right, y'all. Well, with that being said, while I go change my spurs and find some more boots and my Renaissance fan, I still don't know where the hell that Renaissance fan is. Um, we are going to take a quick break and come back with the category for this week's segment. We'll be back in a second. Okay, y'all. So we are black and back. And this week for the category is segment, we are talking about this concept of perfectionism. So I wanna posit this and say Jordan has not been to the show. I said that earlier. I have. But a lot of even like this conversation is not specifically about the show. This conversation is specifically about the ways that the world has responded to the show and specific parts of the show. And so I'm pretty sure you've already seen the clips, Joel. You've seen the clips of Blue dancing and the clip of Rumi being on the stage and people just going ham and on the videos and on the comments talking really poorly about them. And it made me stop as I was reflecting on the show. It made me stop and think about this notion of how the world participates in like how the world feeds into the idea that blackness has to equal perfectionism, and the different ways that we talk about black freedom per se. Like I feel like that word is going to be very salient in this conversation. And so this notion of like black excellence and how daunting it can be, specifically on our bodies and on our mental, like even hearing people talk about Beyonce not dancing as much as she used to on the tour, this notion of like why it feels like even when our children or black people like do the best, or do something really really cool, there's always someone that's like, oh, you can one up that more, you can do that better. And so it just, I would love to like engage that conversation around perfectionism and how, black excellence has pressed its perfectionist thumb up against your head. So what are some ways that you feel like, perfectionism has shown up for you, and like how do you really deal with that?
Damn. Damn.
Mhm.
What a big ass question, bitch. Shit.
Sorry girl,
Shit. Yeah.
you know how
Damn.
we do around here.
Okay. I was like, whoo. I think that, like, there's levels to this shit, like
Yeah.
when I'm thinking of like blue and roomy, right? And like what's like when I'm thinking about them in the terms of how people are reacting to them in the show and the idea of like black excellence and perfectionism. When I think of like first child syndrome, like I'm really curious,
Real.
right, like Blue for so long like was Destiny's Child, right? Like everyone was like,
Uh-huh.
oh my god, like people and the thing about it is, like, it's kind of, like, strange and maddening, right? Like, people put a lot of pressure and emphasis on
Yeah,
Blue, like,
they
being
did
the
and
child of
still
Beyonce,
do.
and still do,
Mhm.
right? And,
Mhm.
and you really see in Renaissance, if you watch the film when it was out in theaters, right, how much Beyonce talked about that as well too, like, she hasn't had a struggle like I have, and I don't want her to,
Right.
right, and how she was disappointed when someone had let Blue see the comments about her after the first show of her choreography, and
Mhm.
that also made her like work harder and stuff. But like oftentimes, right, like the first child takes the brunt of the shit from the parents, and
Yeah.
the subsequent children get to be more free in some ways, and so I think
Mhm.
that's like one layer. I think like innocence looks different for them, right? Like seeing Rumi looks so innocent.
And
Um
does.
and does, right? But Blue also always came out like I always think of well, it was like I want to say it was like I don't know if is it the Grammys or something, but
Yeah, when she was
is
telling
this
her parents to chill.
she like
Mhm.
she puts a hand on them. She's like, "Stop, stop, stop, stop,
Yeah.
stop!" Right, like
Mhm.
Baloo's
Mhm.
also always been manager. Blue's always been manager.
Has always been Beyonce's
You know,
manager, yes.
and I love that. I also wonder too, right? Like I forget how her pregnancy with Blue was, but I remember her talking about her pregnancy with Remy and Sir, how challenging it was for her. Right, and
Yeah.
how like she as a black woman she was endangered still, like with
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
like lack of proper like healthcare, and so so like I also wonder right like did that impact her of like these kids struggled to even get here, so
Mhm.
like I want them to also feel a bit more innocent, right? We see a lot of
Yeah.
Rumi but not a lot of Sir, like where's Sir in all this? I think I also have questions too, and like I'm not trying to spend as much time talking about like people's kids. Like I also was ready to talk about people's kids like this as well too. But I think for me, right, I see them as kids, and I think
Yeah.
the idea of like excellence and perfectionism. People are like Blue is so amazing, Blue is so dope. Blue is also 12 years old, and like as much as I think
Yeah.
Blue is
She's
amazing,
a kid,
as much as
yeah.
I'm so happy that Blue is hitting the choreography, much as I'm like Blue, like like everyone's like in 2 more years she'll be at her mom's level. In 2 more years she'll be 14. I do not want her to be at her
Yeah.
mom's level. I want
No, she shouldn't be.
if she wants to, good for her. I'm happy for her. But like, I want Blue to also just to be a kid. Like I want Blue to like not feel the pressure to do that either. And like right, and that
Right.
means like we're upholding the idea of like a black child should be like right, black child of the most arguably powerful person in the world culturally is even
Yeah.
more held to the standard of like having to be
Yeah,
perfect.
perfectionism. Yep, 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 yep. So I think about it, right? So, we if you've listened to our show or if you've been following our show, we did a conversation. I forget what episode it was, but we talked about Cowboy Carter, and one of the things we did is we did kind of a breakdown of each of the songs, and even with 16 Carriages, right? As I listen to 16 Carriages, like there's a part of me that's like I hear what Beyonce is saying in that song, and I feel it so much. And I pray that her kids never have to feel that, right? Like I actually pray for all black kids to never have to feel that song per se, right? To feel like they had to
Mm-hmm.
give up so much of their youngness and their youth, to work, right? Like Beyonce is saying in that song, right? Like I'm basically on the road helping my family. I'm helping my family get out, up, I wouldn't say get out of poverty because we know that Beyonce didn't come from poverty, but we also know that Beyonce's parents her mother gave up her salon, her father gave up his job. I think he was an insurance broker or something like that. And literally they basically said, we're going to pour all of our energy into Beyonce. And yes, they were in a privileged place, but the reality of the matter was, like, in order for Beyonce felt like there was this thing on her at the age of like 14, 15 years old, that she had to be perfect and be good at it all, so that way she could help her parents and lift her family up. That pressure is something that we all feel. And so I that's the reason why I posited this, right? As a talking point for us in our show, because I see how we do that to Black kids. I see how we do that to Black youth specifically, and making them feel like, and again, and it's not just a Black issue, right? I'm just, obviously this is a Black ass show, so we're going to talk about it from the Black purview. But I think marginalized kids in general, we have this onus of feeling like we have to always excel in every single thing that we do, because the white eye, like the white people are looking at us. The white people are going to critique us if we show up half as good to it. And so that's the, like I said, I think there's two things that are here: the expectation that we put on Black creators, children, artists, all those things, right? Because we know that we're better than the oppressor, and knowing that the oppressor will never be able to touch us with a 10-foot pole. And then we have this thing of how Black youth are constantly being told that nothing they do will ever be good enough, so you have to work twice as hard just to get as far. And even at my big age of 40, I still feel that, right? Like, even looking at our podcast numbers, like the pressure that me and you have talked about off air
Often, yeah.
We have to make sure that we got to get the awards, and we got to get our numbers up, and we got to do this, we got to do that. And I know that that's not coming from, I want to make that very clear in case, our team is listening, right? I want to make it very clear that this is not coming from iHeart per se, but there is still this idea of when we came into this, right? Like, if your show is not good enough, it can be canceled. And it didn't come from our team. It just comes from the worlds that we live in as Black people and Black queer people, that if your show is not, quote unquote, the best show ever, or it's not the most talked about show, the most awarded show, it's not a good show, And so I just, I hate that we're here. I hate that we're here. I hate that the world keeps projecting their insecurities onto a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old child, And I want to make it clear too, the reason why we don't see Sir, I want to make that also very clear. It's no shade. The reason why we don't see Sir is because Sir doesn't like the attention. And I think that's the reason why we don't see him, is because, for whatever reason, we don't know what the full reason is, but Beyonce has said Sir is not roomy or blue. Sir does not like the attention, and they honor that. And I love them and respect them for that.
Which I think is, I mean, like really great parenting. Like, again, if you watch Renaissance, right? Like, Blue was asking to be on stage, and Beyonce was like, "No, like, I don't want you to be on stage." And then, and then Blue was like, "Let's negotiate, girl. I want to be on stage." And Beyonce said, like, if you want to do this, and you can do this, and like, then, like, okay, girl, do it, and like, see what happens, right? And like, and then obviously when people were coming for Blue, Beyonce was like, "I hate that you saw this," and all these things, but Blue, but Blue was like, "No, girl, I got this," and then has come out and slayed the game every single time, which I think is like super, super dope. But I think, like I appreciate the parenting that they're giving, of saying, because like, it'd be so easy as famous parents to then try and profit off their kids as well.
Good.
Which I love, because they're saying like we don't need to profit off of our kid. Like, they're like, we're profitable already. We don't need to make more off of our kids, and we refuse to make them. We refuse to make them perform, and let's be honest, perform for the white gaze. Just to make a buck, right? She even said in her song "Boss," my great grandchildren are already rich. That's a lot of brown children on your Forbes list. Like, she is like, I've taken care of my family for generations now. They get to do what they want to do, and not what they have to do, which I think is really, 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 really special. Which does, like, it leads me to another question as well. But I also want to go back to your point about right, like us as Black folks having to, like, we have to meet our numbers, right? Like, we know that the country we live in exists in runs off of meeting your metrics. It runs off of metrics. It runs off of impact. It runs off of valuation. It runs off of us meeting our numbers. And so, like, yeah, it's a very real thing that we weekly are like, hey, what can we do to people to be more engaged with us, right? Even though our quality of engagement is so good, so many we have like amazing people who listen to our show, who ride with us, who rock with us on our social media, who leave us reviews, right? But
Yeah.
like, but when we get that one bad review or a bad comment, or we get rated 4 stars and not 5 stars, or we're saying that we're not getting hundreds of thousands of downloads, right? Like our minds like, well, America runs off metrics, and we're having those metrics, which
Yeah.
is like so frustrating, because then right then it puts us in a space where like like we feel like we can't create because we want to do it for joy. We gotta create like to do it for
It
survival.
becomes work.
I
It
mean,
becomes work.
it becomes work, and so I think the question I'm
Yeah.
thinking a lot about is like what one for the kids, but also usually for Black folks, right? Like, what is it? But I think especially for children, right? Like, what does that mean for Black children to be free? To do things because they want to do it, not
Mm.
because they have to do it. For Black children to
Yeah.
feel like kids, what does that look like
Yeah.
and mean?
And so I said, like, I had posted this on social. I posted this on social, like literally the like a few hours after I got home, and I started seeing all the comments about Rumi, on social media. I said to myself, I said, I watch Blue, and I watch Rumi, and I watch a lot of other, like, I have a friend of mine, Angelina Spicer, who is a comedian, and she has a daughter, and I have quite a few friends who are like in the industry. My friend Jessica, right? My friend Jessica, yeah, Jessica Marie Garcia, who's a friend to our show. She has a daughter, and I watch their kids. And even though Jessica's kid is not Black, she's Latinx. I still recognize that there's the oppression that is over their heads, right? There's still this thing of you're a minoritized child living, like you said, in a world that is not built for you, and based off of metrics and capitalism and all these other things. um and I just, I think about, what does it mean to be free for them, is the idea that they can stand on a stage and jump up for joy and wave at people, and have people wave back to them, and have signs that say we love you, for them simply just existing, right? Like, they don't have to, they don't, and so, and I'm trying not to get too deep into the whole like fake woke, and I know what I'm talking about, and my educational bag, although I do have a degree to back it up. I think about the gamut of like systematic oppression and racism, and the ways that Black people only ever see no, not Black people, white people, specifically white systems. I want to say more largely, white systems only see us when we're entertaining,
Mm, mm,
only value us when we're doing something to help them feel better about what they're not doing, right? We love what you had to say, Dr. Higgins, because you came in and said the hard thing, but everyone's not thinking about what my life is like when I walk out that door, and people are making it hell for me because I said and did what needed to be done around that hard thing, right? So I think about that a lot. Like, what does freedom look like? Not feeling like they have to constantly be on, right? So like, I think like, I love the idea that Sir is not in the limelight. Like, I love that when people are like, well, where is Sir? We don't need to see Sir. Sir is a child. Okay, for Sir to
mhm.
stay at home. He is, if he's not
Where he
here to
at with the child care babysitter?
with his
Like,
child care provider. Like, he's at home. Let him be at home. It's the same thing when my friend Jessica says, I don't want my daughter being on social media. Good. No, same thing
mhm.
about me. I don't want my nephew. Like, I understand. Like, I would never purport myself to feel like I have a massive brand and that I'm this huge or whatever. But I love the idea that no one really knows who my nephew is. Like, you know
Mhm,
them because you've seen pictures of my close friends. But
mhm,
I don't want my nephew involved with a lot of the stuff I'm doing, because I want my nephew to be a 7-year-old kid. I want him coming over to Uncle Johnny's house and not feeling like he has to duck and dodge and mind everything that he's doing, and that he can come over here, play with his toys, play with, play, what's that video game that everybody plays,
Minecraft,
no, you with that, but also
Fortnite.
Bluey.
Oh, okay.
It's the
Oh,
system,
he's
the
setting us
Nintendo
on that.
Switch.
Yeah, this
He
way.
can come up here and play Switch and have a good time. Like, I
Yeah.
want our kids to not have to feel like we feel. Like, I will be transparent and saying, like, I don't know how to rest because I've never been able to. I don't
Mm.
know how, like, and I'm sure you feel this too. Like, me and you, like, even right now, trying to get this podcast done. We are
Girl, we're
literally
always
in 30
working.
different, we are
Yeah.
always doing something, because what does the world tell us? If you're not working, if you're not overly stressed, if you're not over Roblox, if you're not, if that too, I'm sure. if you're not doing, I mean, and I'm sure you heard this as a Black kid too. If you're not doing something, you're not productive, right? Get up and do something. Why are you sitting down? Why are you watching TV? Go do something productive. And it's like, nigga, I'm 8. Like, what? Like, go outside and mow the lawn. Why? Like, I literally want that for my nephew. Great. When we go to Disneyland, get what you want. I'll give you if it's less than $100. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want my nephew. Like, my nephew, I see him almost as if he's my child. I don't want my nephew to have to feel the way I felt growing up. You know, I want my nephew to enjoy, and it almost makes me emotional because it's like, it's so, I just hate that we're at a place where we take this shit that we carry with us, and it's almost like, I liken it to the idea. I know I'm on a soapbox today, but it's like, I liken it to, like, so when people talk about, oh well, I had to work hard to get my degree, so you should, no one helped me pay my degree, so no, you should be happy that somebody got their degree for free. Because why should they have to fucking struggle in order for them? Like, it blows my mind that we take our stress and our oppression and we just drop it off on these kids, and we normalize it. Like, this is like the way that these people are talking about these children, it's not normal. So it really makes me upset. I don't know. Like, I know I don't know them. I don't know their kids. I probably never will. But it's really upsetting to me that I think that we are so hard on kids who just want to have, they Blue just wants to have fun. Let her have fun. I didn't get to have fun at 14. I was working at a fucking Shakey's at 14. I was collecting tips because I was trying to help my mom pay bills. I didn't get to have fun. So seeing Blue up there dancing and having a good time at her age, let her. I didn't get that, So that's where I'm at.
Ooh, girl, that is. I feel that so much in my spirit, and like I'm thinking of, like, so many different things within that, because like wanting your kids to be free, wanting them to not have to, like, be a part of this oppressive system
Yeah.
that keeps them, like, tethered to obligation and responsibility versus joy is so, so
Right. Right.
real. Um,
It's
like,
very.
I think, like, it was something about, like, the, like, restaurant never, whenever I tell you what I'm up to, the people are like, "Wow, like, you do so much," and I feel like it's not enough all the time. I
All
feel
the
like
time.
I
All
can
the
run
time.
myself to the ground and still be like, "It's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough," even though it's too much.
Mhm.
And I'm also like, "Well, if I don't do this work, like, if I'm not part of this work, like, no one else is doing this work right now." And not that it's only on me or that I'm the end all be all for it, but, like, I often
Right.
think, like, I am the one driving this right now, and if I'm not the one driving this, I don't know who's gonna pick it up. And,
That
like,
part.
and frankly, the work is too important, like, to me, to drop, but and it contributes to, like, to my burnout, right? Like, I wish I could trust that people could pick it up. I wish I could trust that
That
people, have my back. And, like, sometimes they do, and sometimes I believe it, and sometimes I don't. And so, right, the conditions are not created for us to be able to rest in the first
Mhm.
place. And so
Mhm.
when someone's and so when someone's like when someone asks me, like, "Oh, how do you find rest? How do you find relaxation?" Girl, find me a condition to do it. Find me a place to do, like you're asking you like
Hello?
you're asking me to
Hello?
address the symptom but not the cause. Address the cause of that
Hello?
symptom, girl, and I can, like, and I can work on it, and I think, right, like, that begins at your childhood. That begins at, like, when you have kids and they have challenges. You address the symptom of the challenge, but not the cause of the challenge. You don't address, like, what actually the issue stems from for them.
Right.
I sometimes, like, I struggle with, like, I struggle a lot sometimes with, like, kids and celebrities, because part of me sometimes is like, okay, like, these are, like, right, like some it's a double-edged sword, because part of me is like, I wish, right, I'm like Rumi, Sir and Blue, like I wish they could just be kids. And part of me
Yeah.
sometimes is like, and sometimes I'm like, okay, but they also go on like extravagant vacations, right? Like
Right. Right.
they also do get to be kids. Like when their parents are working, they're there for work. But like they also do get to be kids in other ways that like many people do not get to be kids, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And that said, they're also kids in a public spotlight, right? And so the pressure they have from the world from the world around them is also just like wild and intense, right? And I think it's like
Yeah.
definitely microcosmic, particularly around the emphasis we place on young Black women. I also feel, and I've been thinking about this a lot too. Like a lot of people are commenting on Blue's appearance, and people have always commented on Blue's appearance, right?
Always.
And like,
Ever since she was
and
born.
I will not shy away, right? Like I've been one of those people, like I've been one of those people who like I hope she looks like this, not like this, right? And I'm realizing as an adult, I'm like, oh my god, like why, like I'm not gonna have a chance to just like be a free child, like right, like I'm
Hmm.
like one, I'm basing her worth off how she might look, which is already problematic in itself, right? And then and then I'm saying she looks this other way, she may not look as good or something. I was listening to um Sequoia Holmes, who was on who runs Black People Love
Yeah.
Paramore. She has a show on
Hmm.
SiriusXM as well too. I think it's like the Daily Dirty. And she was talking about like she was saying like she wasn't called beautiful a lot growing up, and so it's not part of her
Yeah.
identity, right? And like, it's not that she doesn't think she's not beautiful, and she is, right? But she made a point of saying like it's not like my identity is not tied to like my beauty, and so she was like, I want young girls to grow up not feeling like they have to be beautiful to be worth something. And
Right.
I was like, oh,
Right.
like what an interesting moment of like for even for me of like, oh, like I'm like I always comment on like I don't comment on people's appearances of like, oh, like you look thin or blah blah. Like, but like I'm always signpost like you're so stunning. Your
Or you
energy
look
is everything,
good.
right? Like
Yeah. You
look
look
great.
good. Yes.
And part of me wants to keep doing that. And the other part of me is like, oh my gosh, like, I also don't want to reinforce the idea that like they're like looking good or being
The
beautiful or
only way for
stunning
them to
is the
feel
only
valued
way.
is look.
Exactly, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I
in
feel
in
that.
the case of Blue, everyone's like, she looks so much like her mom. She looks so great, and it's like you're comparing Beyonce's child to Beyonce,
Yeah.
that is actually kind of wild, right? Like no kid wants to be compared to their parent. No
Right.
kid
Right.
wants to be in their parent's shadow, because they
Hmm.
want to be their own person. And
Yeah.
so I do have a question for us of like, aren't we actually making it worse for Blue by putting on this on her, right? Or or by saying like, oh, like she nailed her mom's choreography from what song
Crazy in
was it?
love.
Yeah, for Crazy
Or
Love,
it
right?
was Deja
No,
Vu. It was Deja
yeah,
Vu.
yeah. She she buy that choreography from Deja Vu. She's so much like her mom. Give her 2 years, she'll be like her mom. No,
Yeah.
let Blue be
Hmm.
Blue. Her name is not Blue
Yeah.
Beyonce. Her name is Blue. Like let her be Blue Ivy
Yeah.
Carter.
She's not a Beyonce Jr.
Let
Yeah.
her be herself.
Hmm.
I will say
And I
like,
want to not to cut you off, but to
yeah,
your point, I think that's like that's the nucleus of what we're talking about, right? The giving kids, specifically Black children, the space to be themselves. Like I really
yeah,
want us to give Black people in general, not just children, but everybody
yeah,
Black, right? We need to be
yeah,
able to be ourselves. But children themselves, yes, let them be
yeah.
who they are.
And
Mhm.
and I will say I do like you had a question of in here like do we think B and J having the same conversations with the kids as our parents have with us like around blackness and then they like I also think so like I think like even though that's Beyonce's child I think there's a level that Beyonce and Jay Z know that like no amount of
Mhm.
protection that they have like socially of being their child will keep Blue safe from everything in the world.
Right, right.
I
Real.
absolutely do believe like I absolutely do believe still that like even if she says I'm Beyonce's child, that does not that may not matter to a police officer in the field for
Nope.
something,
Nope.
right? And so
Nope.
I absolutely, which is also why like they got security up, right? They're
Yeah.
when they're driven with other people, they only only people that they trust are around their kids because like they don't want to be in spaces where the kids be endangered in any way.
Right.
Which is yeah. So
Mhm.
whew, okay, fam. Well, now that we have told Blue Ivy and Roommate haters where to go and how to get there, and how to kick rocks on the way,
Hey,
we gotta
man.
take another quick break, and pause for the cause of paying bills. That is, We will be back soon with what's on your plate in just a bit.
Can you pay my bills?
Can you pay my telephone bills? Okay, fam, we are back, and today we want to keep it light and fun for what's on your plate. As two big girls who go to a lot of events, and knowing that events be having some interesting food choices, I'm curious to ask you, what's your favorite outdoor What's your favorite outdoor concert venue or stadium snack?
Snack.
What venues do you think
Oh,
have the best?
oh.
What venues do you think
Yes.
have some of the best snacky poos for you?
Yes. So I don't have a specific location.
Okay.
However, the one thing about everyone, I will say this: a lot of people give me a lot of people always comment on my teeth. People are like, "You have such pretty teeth," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." A lot of people don't know is that I also have spent a lot of my life with fucked up teeth because my teeth are brittle, and so I've had to have a lot of work done on my mouth because one of the things that I love to eat is popcorn. And I think I get that from my mom. My mom is a massive popcorn eater, and so am I. I love every variation of popcorn you could think of. I'm going to eat it. And so I love going to stadiums. And if I see they got popcorn, I want it. Especially, I will say that Disneyland has the best popcorn. They put crack in that popcorn. I don't know what they put in that popcorn, but it's good. But a good soda, popcorn is definitely it for me. I'm a big girl, so I love candy. I love candy in my drinks. I love to go to the movie theater and put candy in my popcorn. I can't wait to get back from my vacation so I can go see Sinners, and I can do that. I can mix the chocolates and the popcorn because that's my favorite thing to do.
Oh yeah.
But yes, yes, nom 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 nom. I would also say that I love a good. So I'm a true. So when you go to SoFi and and go when you get to the level wherever level you're sitting, I don't want you to out yourself from where you're sitting. But they have a little stand with a little cowboy cup drink. There's like a blended mixed drink situation. I love those too, especially if it's a good alcoholic one, even though I don't really drink. I
That
would have
sounds
gotten
yummy,
one when I
yum.
went to the show, but I can't have it because of the sugar content in it.
Mm.
But that's also my favorite. I love a good mixed drink. It's because those things are loaded with sugar. And also if I can get a good hot dog or a good chili dog. I will say Dodgers. They have some really good dogs. I will give them tip of the hat to the Dodger Stadium. They got some good hot dogs and a good Coke Zero, not Diet Coke. Diet Coke is nasty. I be telling people that Diet Coke is disgusting. Coke Zero is where it's at. All right. Question of the day: Are you a soda drinker? I've never seen you drink soda.
Okay, love this question. Yes and no. I didn't grow up with a lot of sodas um, because I mean, one because like there weren't a lot of diet sodas growing up, and my parents were diabetic, so they're like, we're not going to drink sugary
Okay,
sodas.
that's fair.
And
Yeah.
so I just never tell me you have diabetic parents. Don't tell me you have diabetic parents. No sodas in the house. No candies. Um, no things with the
Yeah.
sugars. No ice
Yeah,
cream in the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
But
My grandparents.
I
Oh,
I do
everything was
like it
disgusting.
depends. Like, and I don't love all sodas. Like I've never been like a Mountain Dew girly. I'm not a Sprite
Oh,
girly. Like it's just like not my
bitch.
thing. I
Mountain Dew.
I'm an
Woo!
iced tea bitch now. Like
Baja
I love me some iced
Blast.
tea. People love the Baja Blast. I'm like,
My
whatever, love it.
God.
But like I'm an icy girl. I'm a lemonade girly. I
Okay.
do
You said
appreciate.
high C?
I know iced tea, iced tea.
Iced tea. I
I
thought you
do
said high C. I said that
appreciate.
shit never
No,
gets
I can
cold.
never. I do appreciate. I appreciate a crisp Coke Zero sometimes.
Yes,
I
yes.
do. I do love root beer. I love root
Mhm.
beer. No, I drink a lot of the what they called Olipop. The Olipop sodas.
Olipop.
They have
Yeah.
actually renamed my love for sodas because the lower sugar content.
Yeah.
They're high in fiber. They're prebiotics and I like or probiotics and I
Yeah.
fuck those up. They're expensive as hell, but I do love those.
They
I
are
drink those
pricey. They are
down.
pricey.
If I'm at a stadium, Petco Park in San Diego, there's a lot of things there, but there's this one place. It's a barbecue place
Mhm.
they exist outside the stadium that I love to go to, but they also have a satellite in the stadium, and I love to go to them, but they're always so fucking packed. I often don't get stadium food because the line's just so damn long. Like
Lines be too
you're
long.
waiting
Yeah,
like
that's
20
real.
minutes to pay $20 for a hot dog. What? Tell me,
We
why did I
almost
pay?
missed. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why did I pay
Sorry.
$10 for a Hebrew National hot dog? That pencil dick for a hot dog. Why I pay $10 for this? Why I got so hot?
Not
Like
Hebrew National Kitchen is straight. My God. Yeah, we almost missed Beyonce standing in line waiting for snacks.
I'm saying, girl, because
We almost missed
the
the
way I was
opening.
because
Mhm.
at Renaissance, I left for I left just I was like I need to get some drinks. I went to get some iced tea. Right, it took 10 minutes for the iced tea. Mind you, my seat was like no more than 30 feet from the concession stand.
Yeah.
So, and I missed Church Girl, the one song that I said
That you
I
really wanted to
must
see.
see was the one that I missed.
Yeah.
Because my dumb ass was like, let me get some iced tea.
Yeah.
And I said, and the iced tea machine was broken. Then she goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then she can find the cup. And I said, girl, I just want
Yep.
to hear Church Girl. Right. And it was on her birthday show. So I missed her she had a cute little birthday hat on. I missed
Oh,
the whole thing. I said, "What's the point? What's the point of any
no.
of this?" Like, I thank God I saw it on the silver screen because I was fuck. I said, "Yeah." So like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not. I think like I don't do hot dogs or popcorn much either. I'm a nachos girl. Yeah, I love me some nachos. I like
Nachos. Yes, 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 yes,
that's
yes, yes,
cute.
yes.
I wish it was different and better, besides just the plain old
Yeah.
nacho cheese and the plain old round tortilla chips.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
like it's fine. It's fine. I just
It does what it needs to do
like
to hold
again,
you over.
exactly that doesn't need to do. But again, like I didn't do like just things I couldn't eat as a kid. So I'm kind of like whatever about it now as an adult. I've been going to like the baseball games more and trying to like reclaim joy and be like, you know what, I can love my inner child and get this
Uh-huh.
hot dog
Uh-huh.
today and get me
Get
a big old
yes,
can of
because you can,
Coke and call
because
it a
you
good day.
can.
Cause I
Because you
can.
can. Because you can. Yes, I love
Sure.
that for you. Last question. Are you a jalapeno girl? Do you do
Depends.
jalapenos?
Depends. I do. So depends. I don't love them. If it's like shredded cheese nachos, I don't love them on that. But I love them on the nacho
Okay.
cheese sauce nachos because
I
the
want them in the I want
because
them
the
in the cheese. I don't
because
wanna
the
see them.
because the jalapeno like feel right like the jalapeno feels like it's part of the sauce
Yes.
versus like yeah. But I love me a girl a popper. I pick a popper up. A
Yes,
popper up.
how you doing?
How
But
you
no, yeah,
doing?
yeah, I will bite into one if it's not hot. I don't mind
Yeah.
jalapenos if they're not hot. I'm just we all know that I'm not a hot girly. Anything too hot, I'm not eating it. So spicy is not my ministry. But I just wanted to know. I just love, like I said, every time I'm on the mic with you, I learn so much about my sister. So I was like, I wonder if my sister actually drinks soda
Girl,
because
same here.
we've been together because we ain't ever
But
every time we
I
go
always
eat.
get iced tea. I always get iced tea. I love me
Yeah,
iced tea,
you do.
bitch.
You do. Every
Mm.
time we've gone to eat, you've always got nice tea. I can't say that. Well, with that being said, now that you both have learned, now that everybody has learned a lot about both of us, we are going to take one more quick break to pay some bills. And when we get back, we're going to be back with your favorite segment, Yes, Ma'am, and No, Ma'am, Pam. All right, y'all. So we are, as you all know, we're recording early this week because life is going up against both of our heads like a mama with a chocolate. But with that being said, in this segment, we give flowers or we take them away. And this week, I want to give flowers, obviously, to the queen. We've been talking about her all episode, and anytime I can give Beyonce her flowers, I'm going to. Y'all know that about me. But actually, I'm not going to give Beyonce flowers in the way that you think, because again, we could just talk about Beyonce all day and about how amazing she is. But I definitely wanted to say yes, ma'am. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away for those of you who are waiting to go to Cowboy Carter. But the yes, ma'am, that I wanted to give her was specifically just really about this idea of her, like the creativity around her. And what I mean by that is, and as you, Joho, being a multi hyphenate, you probably get it, right? When we sit down and we think about, okay, well, we want to do this thing and we got to do this. There's all these logistics and things that sometimes you have to think about. And for me, it's like
Mhm.
watching Cowboy Carter and being at the show, it wasn't just for me like, okay, well, Beyonce's a great singer and she has this great song and she has this great album. Okay, great. But then to actually like fully actualize like an actual show and have to think about every interlude and have to think about what the dancers are going to be doing in a moment, or what in particular show, there's a lot of props, and so how are the props going to be moving and who's going to be holding what props at what, like there's just so much that goes into being a creative, and for me it's like, yes, I know that Beyonce has grown money, like she has long money, and so she probably has people to help her with this. But the idea that she sits and she hears a song and she can think about it and say, this is what I see, this is what I want to have happen, who can help me make this happen, it takes a lot of energy to do that. And so I literally just want to give her a lot of credit for that and just be like, wow, like the fact that she and then also the fact that she's pouring into so many other creatives while she's being creative. Because I've also, like, I just found out that a friend of mine reached out to a friend and said, oh, I want to do this look for the next Cowboy Carter show I'm going to, can you reach out to this person to help me? And she said, oh, that person's actually working for Beyonce now and their prices are a little bit higher, which again I respect. Or they may not have the capacity because Beyonce has them doing this thing. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool to know that somebody that I know on my day to day is now styling and doing doing alterations for a really big tour. So it's just really cool to know that Beyonce is not just Beyonce, that Beyonce really is doing it for the culture. So
period.
That's just my take on it. Now my No Man Pam, very simple. I'm just gonna say fuck Sofi. The fact whoever designed Sofi can go straight to hell. It is the most unfriendly, inaccessible, confusing, gaudy, non-inviting venue I have ever been to. I did you see her at Sofi when you went last time for Renaissance? I hate it. That was my first time at the SoFi Stadium, and it was terrible.
I liked it only because, well, so section, I think 300 is right at the level in which you come up the first
You could just walk
escalator,
in.
and so that was just, it
Yeah.
was easy. If I sat anywhere else, I would've been like, "Where the fuck am I going?"
I was in
It was
100
so
and I was
so confusing.
frustrated.
And the gag
I
is
was
they built
so
that shit
frustrated.
recently. How you build it recently and it's still be
It's terrible.
wow.
It is so terrible. So for anybody that's going to, I know, like I said, by the time you all hear this, you know who else? The NRG Stadium is also not super accessible either. It's also very, very badly built. But who am I? I mean, I'm just a podcaster. So, but anyway, what are your guess, ma'ams and no ma'am Pams
Girl,
for this week?
find me a well-built stadium. I have no idea who the fuck, like, I
Mhm.
can't find, like, I just wonder, like, who, like, y'all don't let urban planners build these things. So who's building
Nope.
them? Even though urban
Mhm.
planners are the ones who should be building it because they're the ones that have the thought process behind urban planning. But
Right.
go off, girl.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
who are we? Who are we besides just two bitches with mics? I guess. My yes, ma'am, Pam. Yes, ma'am, Pam this week.
Not the
Honestly,
tariffs.
girl. Not that the
Mhm.
girl. Okay, no, honestly, my yes, ma'am, Pam, because I am running on fumes, is people saying, "Girl, the tariffs." Like the way that has become colloquially our thing of like, "Hey, do you want to go out tonight, girl? Girl, I can't, the tariffs. Hey, girl, do you want to do
Girl,
something? Girl, I can't, the tariffs. Hey, girl, I can't, the tariffs. Girl, the tariffs. Like
the
the
tariffs,
tariffs
honey.
have ruined everything, and I live. And I'm just like
Yes.
the tariffs, the tariffs, the tariffs. Now, no one can define what a tariff is. No one knows where
Nope.
tariff comes from. Everyone just says, "Girl, the tariffs. I can't, the tariffs." And I
Amen.
live to speak down
Amen.
every single time. My
Mhm.
no man Pam is no. I will give up. I'll file a formal complaint with this later. But I'm at this multi-day event, and I
You said I'll
understand.
file a formal complaint later.
I understand. I understand security needs. I really do. I really do.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
I am seeing people being profiled for security. Mind you,
Real.
from like people of color profiled by security of color. And I'm like, how you gonna profile your own people? Like the level of security is like, I understand the need for safety, like I really do. But like there has to be a better way than what we're doing now. It just doesn't feel like I think I might file for a complaint of like people I know are being profiled by your place because they like look different or something. But like that isn't gonna
Yeah.
help make it more safe. And it like and also like I just like actually sorry. Let me also say another thing is there's a discussion about belonging um in this place. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna rant a little bit. I've been talking about belonging for the past 7 years. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like the purveyor of belonging anyway, right? Like,
Right,
I heard
right.
about belonging like in justice work years ago, and people are now talking about it like it's a novel idea. And I'm like, belonging has been around for so long. Why are you just now approaching it as if people have been shining this work from the heavens since since the beginning of DEI work, and you're using belonging instead of DEI, and that's problematic because your work of belonging is not actual belonging. You're discussing
Nope.
inclusion. People's like, for example, like
Mhm.
I went to an event and like one thing I think about, right, is like there are people who are still mask wearers, right? Like who wear masks at conferences, and like rightfully so
Right, right.
for their own safety. Inclusion will say you're welcome to wear your mask, but like if you're forcing a lunch for them in the middle of this giant ballroom that we have to all go to for the event, they can't eat because they're wearing a mask. Like how they unless they risk
Mhm.
their lives to take their mask off to eat their food. Belonging would
Right.
say, let's make it so you can go eat somewhere outside where you feel safer before our program begins.
Mhm.
So we can do our program together afterwards, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
belonging would be. And so I'm like, y'all are not really talking about actual belonging. No one actually knows what belonging is because you're not putting it in practice, right? Like inclusion is saying white folks and black folks can be in the same place, right? But
Mhm.
we'll only play white music.
Yeah.
Belonging is gonna be well, you all folks can be in one place, and they all get a chance to DJ. They all get a chance to have
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
have the aux crew. We're all dancing to it. We're all trying all the foods that we have. Like y'all don't know what belonging is, so stop saying it. Like it's just so frustrating to be in spaces having conversations that one like are not applicable to
Real.
actual life today, and they don't actually fit what they're saying it fits. Like I want belonging for all the people, but it won't happen if we keep acting like what this is doing it. And like, I don't know,
Right.
it just makes me so very upset because there are several things like as someone who loves design programs, I'm seeing the pain points and like this could have been so different. But you decided to do
Yeah.
this because like you decided the majority is more important than like these people here. But let me tell you right now, the people the right like the minority of folks like are the
Mhm.
ones that will never come back,
Yeah.
and you'll keep building for majority until you have then you'll keep building for majority until you have
Totally
mm,
isolated.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, and you'll have no majority
Uh-huh.
left.
You Yep. That yeah, I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people like and I'm gonna keep saying it. I've been saying it. Niggas don't read, and I just want to make it clear that niggas can be anybody, right? Niggas don't just have to be black people.
Yep.
Niggas just don't read, and it's frustrating to me because it's like I've been saying we've all been saying this in our work since the inception of time, right? Include us, and now people are
Mhm.
belonging, 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 and it's like no, you just don't. It's the same reason why people don't like saying black, right? Because they know that there's a responsibility that comes with saying black, and so when you start talking about DI, it means you actually have to do something. And so what do? We let's lean on belonging to make it easier for us to do this work. It's just all of it is, and I'm gonna say this. I know it's gonna be late by the time this comes out, but while everyone was going up about the Met Gala, I wasn't because it's performative. Everything around the Met Gala this season, in terms of the theme, was performative. No, I will not be explaining anymore. Google it, do your own research, figure it out, or pay me for us to engage that conversation. But everything related to the Met Gala was performative, and I didn't see it. Yes, there were some cute looks. Janelle Monáe was the best dressed, but I'm just not here for it. So,
Mhm.
anyway, with that being said, we have to go. Please send us your thoughts, feedback, and email to blackfatfempod@gmail.com. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our post on Instagram and the blue of the skies. We're over there, say hello, drop in, drop us a line. Queen Joho, where can the dogs find you this week? Outside of Baltimore.
My cowboys, cowgirls, and cowdays and cowgays. You can find me
Mm-hmm.
at Joe Daniels across all socials. My website, JordanDaniels.com. If not there, you will find me in dap down in the latest fringe
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
I'm yeeing my last haul, even post Cowboy Carter. Hopefully not my last haul. Like just
Yes, 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 yes.
he my last haul of the week. At that
Book
point,
it, book
book,
it, book
book.
it.
Whoa,
Whoa,
very
book
excited
it,
for it.
book it. Like a
And
mechanical
just
bull.
what?
Mm-hmm.
and just living life to its fullest as best as I can
Amen.
in this wild world.
I hope you have the most amazing time at the rodeo. I will tell you, like I've been telling everybody, this is for everybody. This is not just a Sofi thing. Get to the arena as early as you can. That merch line, we waited in the merch line for an hour and a half.
Oh, girl.
They also have a very long line for tasting Sir Davis. So if you haven't tasted Sir Davis, go. They are giving it away. They have a little mocktail, like not mocktail, but they have a little cocktail situation too, like a tasting cocktail you can get with your shot of Sir Davis. And they also have the sacred booths out there where they're giving away stuff too. I didn't get, you know what, Joe, can you do a favor for me? If you go, can you get me one of the little sacred rodeo keychains?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna need that.
I got you. I got
and
you.
Chris, I know, Chris, you're gonna listen to this. Chris, yes, I still have your jersey. I will give it to you when I'm out in LA. But anyway, all that to be said, yes, please make sure if you're going, get there early. As for me and mine, you will find me at home. Well, actually, no. So we're recording early because I'm getting ready to go on a trip. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
will find me
In
resting
the ocean
for a week and a half, much needed rest that I need. And other than that, I'm telling everybody, go to www.drjonpaul.com. I have 11 more dates left in my book tour. It's insane to me that I said that. The fact that I've probably almost did 20 is crazy. But anyway, all that to be said, I have 11 more dates. So if you want to catch me on tour, I will. There are some dates I have in California. There are a few more dates that I have in Chicago. A few dates that I will be. I'm trying to think of where else am I going. I'll be in New Orleans. I will be in Wichita.
Okay.
I will also be in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm in Dallas too. So if you want to see me, there is a chance for you to catch me. But other than that, buy my book. Keep running it up. I love to see it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me and for mine. So with that being said, we love you. We thank you for listening. We want to thank our producers, Bei Wang, for handling all the logistics with the show, and everyone over at iHeartMedia who continues to keep the show up and running. Yes, we are in our officially fourth season of the show.
Okay.
And so we're just so grateful to be still on the air and being able to bring this show to you all. We also want to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, y'all would have no audio. And they do a lot of really cool, dope stuff. So we're very grateful for what they do for us with the show and also what they do for the tubes of you. We love the comments down over at the YouTubes. And with that being said, this has been another show. Stay black, fat, femme, and fabulous. And remember what, Joho?
We may not be your cup of tea, girl, but get that Sir Davis. You probably need it anyways, okay?
Hey, you probably, but also be cautious because it's a sipping liquor. It's not a drinking liquor. They are two different things.
Okay.
I only know because I was raised around alcoholics. But y'all have a great one. Love y'all. See you next time. Bye.